Yeah. All right, sir.
So, all right. Morning.
Yeah, good morning. So welcome to the last methods debrief on your teaching and education. It has been a wonderful journey so far.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, thanks for lying.
I'm happy that finally we got with it.
No, I hope you have I hope it has been fruitful and enjoyable. It seems the times that I've been in the videos and everything that um, it hasn't been a chore, and
Yeah.
you've integrated your teaching job
Yeah.
here and responsibilities with GIA quite nicely with the teach now
Yeah.
expectations and responsibilities. So well done, you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful experience. So for this
All
last video,
right.
it's kind of it differs from other videos I've made, and
Mhm.
that's because I wanted to see how, for all the videos that we've been making, we could see progress until now. The students are able to take ownership of what they have learned, and you could see leadership being displayed among the students. And that just fulfill the intern standard 10 and 9, which speaks of, leadership that students, they're able to coordinate the lessons. So this time around, for what we did in class, or the things that they've learned, the concept, knowledge, content, application of knowledge in interstandard 4 and 5. Now the learner's development. So we see how the learner develop from one video to another video, and now there's integration among the students. So a lot of things happened during this particular lesson. You could see students, interacting among themselves. There was collaboration, and assessment was, being done by me and you and Mark and then Nicola and other students that joined us from the AP
Yep.
class. So
Yep.
they were assessed based on what they did. Mr. Mark asked a question: Why did you go? Why did you embark on this project? That was a Socratic question that
Mhm.
sparked up a lot of thoughts. And the project that was being carried out by Mariana's group that has to do with the school distribution. So
Yep.
we realized that content can actually be like a model that can be created for the school, and they were able to project for tentatively for what can happen in the year 2026 and going forward, right?
Yeah. The question, I completely agree. And like I said then, and I think Mark said it as well, we're currently in those conversations. So did they expand out anywhere on those models? Had they taken it, or is it just the typical student? And once my project is done, I'm not going to revisit
And no,
that.
no, I actually decided I brought out those topics. And the reason for
Mhm.
that, I wanted it to transfer knowledge into
Mhm.
other areas. You should be able to transfer what you learned in class into every area. Many times in class, you see students ask questions, where can this topic be
Mhm.
utilized in our society?
Right.
So after school, can I use this? So I wanted them to know that, yes, everything you learn in the classroom can be transferred. So that is
True.
one of the interstandard, I think interstandard 5 that talks about application of
Mhm.
knowledge content. So now they're
Mhm.
able to transfer the slope, using slope to predict what will happen in the nearest future, using the lines of best fit. And, for Naomi's group, seeing that you can actually use the data you gather from different points to design like a hall where students we can have like activities, an ultra modern hall, and they could see the, model. And that can also be used in an AP when you're doing a AP calculus, right? So because it has to do with the design of models and all. So they realize
Right.
that knowledge is being transferred. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious if they took it to that next step and did anything with it. They might not have, probably didn't. But I'd be interested to see if any of them are curious about about expanding that model. Because I'm actually doing very similar. Shauna and I are looking at that, predicting what the next 2 or 3 years, 5 years of student growth looks like. So it'd be interesting to compare what they had to what we
Right.
come up with.
I was actually thinking, one of my reflection was that especially the second group, Mariana's group, and I
Mm,
was suggesting if the school at some point will call in some of the students to join them in the planning, or not totally, but
mhm,
for what they have learned, can you see where your knowledge can be utilized?
mhm.
So
Yeah.
if they can, just integrate with something that is school, an area, an aspect that the school want them to really look into that. What you are doing in the classroom, look at what we're doing. What's your input into this? So that can also help them to, see that,
Mm.
yeah,
No, I actually trying to find those ways. Maybe not necessarily mathematics, but part of it is going to be mathematics. What are we going to do? How are we going to continue to grow the upper school? What are some ways? What statistics, what surveys, what formats, what data can we get back? How are we going to get that data? Who are we going to ask? This type of thing, working
yeah,
with Stuco. So I'd be happy once I get some of that information, share the data and
right,
let the students kind of dig into that. Real, I mean, it is real data,
yeah,
and see what they can come up with. I totally agree. Like taking that, and you've done a great job with these projects, taking those pieces that are kind of abstract instead of
yeah,
this, Johnny buys a book for 10 cents, all of those,
yeah,
puts it back on the shelf and somebody else buys it for a reduced price. All of those
sure,
things, like they don't mean anything, but
yeah,
when they're looking at their school, when they're looking at their number of peers that potentially can and cannot be or will or will not be
right,
in their school, then it becomes really real.
right.
One of the things I know we're looking at what we can do with the field. So if they're looking if they're
Oh,
looking at
yeah,
that issue, so there's uh there's some definite planning and projection and ideation that needs to happen there. So
oh,
might be
that's good.
another area for a project.
Yeah, that's it. I'll take note of that. I will take initiative of that when we come back in January.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, there you go. Okay.
yeah,
They'll be looking you
uh,
up. But I totally agree. It hits many of those standards and what you were just talking about right there, taking the initiative. That's your uh number 10 standard. What
yeah,
leadership pieces are you going to take? And I have
yeah,
said even or I put it in my notes to put into the evaluation that even as of last night, your willingness and openness and desire to set up a booth and well to have the students to lead the students to set up the booth to show their
yeah,
learning and understanding of what they're doing in their math classes for
yeah,
a lower school concert we were putting on a display of what's happening in the upper school.
yeah,
And so I appreciate that leadership and that piece and the leadership part
yeah,
coming in and taking on what you and Nicola are
yeah,
collaboratively putting together for that math competition.
yeah,
Don't underestimate those pieces. Those are
yeah,
definitely in that was it iTask standard 10.
yeah,
So 9 and 10, they're all over in there. So be
yeah.
sure to highlight those pieces in there.
Right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your commitment and your support throughout this process.
It's been really easy.
All
I
right.
have to be honest with you. Um, sharing some tidbits here and there, but um, you're you're an easy mentee.
Thank you so
Somebody
much.
that so I have to be honest, I didn't feel like I did too much because, you had things, you knew where to go. The hardest part, I've always said this, is making those relationships with students and I say that as the hardest part. It's easy if you're good at it and you're comfortable with it. It's hard
Yeah.
to teach somebody how to do that.
Yeah.
But you know, you make those relationships really easy.
Right.
So did I. So I'm really glad because that would have been a really difficult thing for me to kind of coach and mentor through. So,
Thank you so much.
so good
So
stuff.
yeah, to just round it up, I was asked that you should do the final evaluation something on the
Yep.
platform. So I don't know.
Already started on that.
Okay.
I've got some pieces in there. I assume that the last ones went through, so I haven't gotten anything kicked back to me.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do that. So yeah, it
That's
went
all
through.
right.
Yeah, it
Okay.
went
All
through
right.
that.
So I got a new device now. So maybe it'll work better. Um, so I will try to finish that today, if not today, for sure tomorrow.
Yeah, then there's another part that they asked that you should go to on let me just
Yep.
open it up.
I think it's one of the things where I have to do a full evaluation of you.
Yeah, I think you just have to confirm is on clinical. When you go on clinical,
Yeah.
then you
The
go you
verification
say
of
that
clinical.
yeah, confirm the verification
Yeah.
of practice. So that they say they need us
Yeah.
need you to verify.
Right now, it's not showing anything, but that's okay. That's not supposed to show anything until all the other pieces are complete.
Okay. Thank you so much. I
But yeah,
appreciate
I know there's that, and then there's another piece that I have to do on my end
it. Right.
as well. So yeah, I'll submit this mentor piece, and then hopefully after I submit that, then I think that piece that you were just talking about with the evaluation, I'll have
Right.
access to that, and then when I fill that in, you should get a notification for that as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.